Is Etsy now a tyrannical dictatorship? In the past 12 months, Etsy has made some pretty bold changes, and a lot of sellers have been asking themselves this exact question. In this video, I'll be sharing my thoughts on some of the major changes that have happened and telling you guys what you can do to overcome them. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Dave. If you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. I do new videos all the time on Etsy, e-commerce, and personal success. With that being said, let's jump right into it. One of the biggest changes that has happened very recently that a lot of sellers are freaking out about is the ODR policy, where if you get too many bad reviews, they boot you off of Etsy. So that's very scary because a lot of sellers have gotten those warnings and have talked about it in the forums and Facebook groups. Also, what I have seen in the Facebook groups and forums, etc., is that even shops that do fall under that percentage rate, they haven't been booted off. And there's a few different reasons. I believe the first reason is because they're not going to be booting like existing sellers right away based on that criteria. I believe that this ODR policy is honestly for the new, spammy, dropshippy type shops that are coming onto Etsy that are in the very gray area that may be blatantly breaking the rules or maybe kind of breaking the rules, but Etsy can't prove that they are. So those types of shops normally get bad reviews anyway because the product quality is low, or maybe they are literally drop shipping when they shouldn't be on Etsy, and they're getting bad reviews because of that. So that's an easy way for Etsy to just boot those shops off and say, hey, we had this policy, you can't fight this policy, it's our policy, it's our website, etc. Goodbye. So I believe that is really like a solid choice to get those types of shops off of Etsy, because there's nothing wrong with drop shipping at all, but on Etsy it's not allowed, and it crowds up the space for handmade sellers, designers, etc., people that aren't breaking the rules, people that the marketplace is made for. So that's one positive aspect of the ODR policy, is that it's going to weed out the really lame, like dropshippy stores on Etsy. Another reason why people haven't been getting booted because they fall into this criteria is because if you look at the ODR policy, one of the criterias, well, they have three criterias. Two of which you're very familiar with, the reviews under 2 stars, but the last one that many people may not fall under, even if their reviews do fall below that threshold, is you have to have 2 or more orders that get a review under 2 stars or a case in under 60 days. So you may have had a few reviews that have brought you under the threshold throughout your entire Etsy career, but if they go to do a review because of that, they can see that in the last 60 days it hasn't happened, and therefore it's not a common occurrence for you. So unless your Etsy shop really sucks and you really suck as a customer service representative, or one of your shop members, it just has no cordial responses whatsoever and can't talk to humans, then you're going to be just fine. And so I just wanted to clear that up. It's that you'll be okay. If you're running a solid shop, you'll be totally okay. The next thing that I want to mention is how it really isn't that legit, and how it kind of sucks, because in a way it is really pushing existing sellers and solid shops towards you must refund to somebody. You pretty much have to refund somebody, and you pretty much have to kiss the customer's butt if you do not want to fall below this ODR threshold. So that's one negative aspect. So I always want to bring up a positive aspect as well as a negative aspect too. It's not all doom and gloom, but this is one of the cons of this policy, is that it is pushing us to just accept every refund request, even if our policies clearly state that we do not accept refunds, on sale items or whatever it may be. Now, if you want to avoid getting your shop kicked off of Etsy because of negative reviews, you have to make sure you kiss the customer's butt, and you have to make sure that you give a refund. Otherwise, you might fall beneath the ODR threshold and get booted. So that's the first aspect I wanted to talk about with Etsy's whole tyrannical reign, right, and their dictatorship. because it is their website at the end of the day, and they can do whatever they want. And that's why I always suggest to people, creating a standalone website as well. But we're not talking about that in this video. What I want to talk about next is Etsy ads. Obviously, Etsy ads took a ton of control away from us. The ROI is way worse, and it's just kind of like a slap in the face. The whole user interface to Etsy ads is sad, honestly. It's built for somebody that like just started an Etsy shop and has no idea what they're doing. I understand that, but at the same time, for those of us that have learned promoted listings and learned a little bit more advanced techniques in terms of bidding, etc., it really is a slap in the face, because you can't set your bid. You're forced to do both platforms, and there's a lot of things that a lot of sellers really don't like. Another thing that I will talk about in a future video is how in the Q3 earnings call, if you read the transcript for it, the Josh Silverman, the CEO, mentioned how Etsy sellers are enjoying Etsy ads, and I believe that to be a bold-faced lie. Maybe he just doesn't know the statistics, or maybe he is like flat out lying, because from everybody that I've spoken to, and I've spoken to a lot of Etsy sellers, and I've coached a lot of Etsy sellers, everyone has said that their ROI has just plummeted, and it's not fun. They do not like Etsy ads. They have and a lot of you in the comments have also told me that you've turned them off straight up. So it's kind of frustrating to see him say that to the investors that Etsy ads is being well received by Etsy sellers. That was kind of a joke to me. So Etsy ads in general is just a massive slap in the face to Etsy sellers. But I do have optimism for it. It can move forward. It can get better. I mean, it's only been around for a few months. I can only imagine like what some of the early adopters of eBay and like the people that have stuck around for like 10 plus years, what some of those sellers have gone through with major changes, etc. We are looking at it from a day-to-day aspect. We're looking at our dashboard and we're going, oh my gosh, this isn't the ROI that I wanted before, etc. But Etsy is not thinking like an Etsy seller. Etsy is thinking in a really broad picture. They might change Etsy ads in a few months from now and see how it goes, etc., while we're sitting here at the edge of our seats. So you have to keep that in mind. It may get better. It's very possible to get better when Etsy sits down, looks at the ROI of their sellers and sees, okay, the average is definitely not as good as it was before. So we have to do something about this. Maybe they can, narrow in the kind of loosey-goosiness of their targeting. Some of you guys have told me, and I have experienced this myself, that, Etsy ads is just targeting single words that are completely irrelevant to shoppers on Google, that just completely drain your ad spend. So it may get better, and it probably will get better. And I'm sure many of you have filled out the survey that is on Etsy ads, and if you have shut off your Etsy ads, you can fill out a survey. So that is all I'll say about that. I will be doing some content in the future about Etsy ads and how to do better with it as the platform is now. And if it does change, you can expect me to create content based around those changes as well. So that's number 2 for Etsy's tyrannical reign, is the Etsy ad changes, and it just sucks. So Etsy ads just sucks. I mean, people are still profiting. I'm still profiting, so I can't complain. ROI is ROI, but you can't. It's like they gave us a big giant cookie and then they split it in half. So that's it. Everybody wants the full cookie. So the next thing about Etsy's tyrannical reign is Etsy a dictatorship. Is the free shipping aspect that a lot of sellers have claimed to be violating like US federal regulations and like some European Union regulations in terms of like consumer laws, etc., with the disclosing shipping costs. I'm not completely sure about that. I haven't really researched that entirely, but that is an interesting topic. The fact that they may be, or they are in a gray area of violating this. And if they are violating that, I would imagine Amazon is too. And if they are trying, if the feds or the EU try to go after Amazon or Etsy or eBay or whoever it may be, I'm sure they'd all team up. They'd all go against the feds and probably win with a ton of different lawyers and a ton of different strategies. So I don't see the free shipping thing going away. It's definitely not going to go away because I believe it helps conversions. It may be deceptive, and I have actually made a video about this. You can search on my channel for the free shipping policy. Is it deceptive? And I go over my thoughts on that. So I'm not going to go into that entirely about the deceptive side of things, but I will say that that is one aspect that makes us feel as sellers that Etsy really doesn't care about us and they're just kind of slapping us around, and that it's a dictatorship or a tyrannical dictatorship. But obviously that's not true. I just wanted to speak on that side of things. Etsy is its own website. They will always do whatever they want to do because it is their website. It is not our website. And that is why you need to have another standalone website on top of your Etsy. If you have the time, if you have the knowledge, but if you're comfortable with Etsy, by all means, stay on Etsy. You don't absolutely need a standalone website. I'll be making a video in the future about Etsy versus Shopify or a standalone website period, and when you should be moving to a standalone website alongside your Etsy, and when, how, and what you need and how you need to check in with yourself if you're ready to do so. So please subscribe if you want to see any of the videos in the future that I'll be making that I mentioned in this video. And for now, please hit the like button and comment below your thoughts, and check out the links in the descriptions for my coaching, my courses, and my free emails. Have a beautiful day. Peace.